Now that we've learned what relationships are, it's time to create our first database. So, in the Create New Database field, type the name of your new database. We will be creating a database for a shoe shop. So, our database will not surprisingly have a name of shoes. Once you've typed the name, click on the Create button. Now that we are inside of the shoes database, let's create the first table. Our first table will also have the name of shoes. Now, how many fields we will need? We will need the field for unique ID. We will need the field for the name of the product. We will need the field for the price, description, make, brand, in other words, whether the product is active or not, and the date when the product has been added to the database. Altogether comes to 7 fields. So I'm typing in number of fields equals 7 and click on the Go button. The first field will have a name of ID. And now there are several different data types. I won't be covering all of them in those videos, but if you want to find out a little bit more, you can always go to mysql.com and check the documentation. Now, the data type of the first field, because it's our unique identifier, will be integer. Integer accepts numerical values, but the whole numbers, no decimal points, just the whole numbers. So integer, we scroll to the right. As an extra, we're going to add auto increment so that every new record has the new ID generated by the database straight away assigned to itself. Then if we select as well primary key, because this is our primary key, we don't want any duplicates here. Then the next field will be name of the varchar data type. Varchar accepts string values, and the maximum number of characters it will accept is 255 characters. And for the name, I think it's going to be enough to give it about 200 characters. Next field will be description. And for the description, because we don't know how long it might be far more than 255 characters, we're going to choose the text data type, which accepts text values, but far more larger than just 255 characters. There are several different text sub data types, which you again can learn about by going to mysql.com. Next, we'll have a price. Price will be of the decimal data type. Now, decimal is the type of the data you would choose when you are working actually with money. Let's say you've got an e-commerce website and you need to put a price, some calculations on the prices. That's the decimal. And now decimal accepts 2 parameters. Actually takes 2 parameters. The first one is the number of digits itself, including any commas, any full stops and so on. So let's say the most expensive product, the most expensive pair of shoes would cost, let's say, £9,000. So we've got 9,000, which is 9 as 1, and 1,000 will be 3 characters, so it's 4 characters altogether. Then we've got a full stop, and then we've got 2 decimal places, so altogether gives us 7 characters. But let's just put 8 in case there was something really expensive, just to make sure that we've got this additional space for this number, if there's something larger than £9,999. Okay, so 8 characters altogether, then comma, and how many decimal places we want to have after the full stop, which we want, in our case, is going to be 2. So we've got decimal done here with the price. Then we have a make. Now make will be linking to the lookup table. So we won't be typing the name of the make here. We will be actually referring to the lookup table, which will store all these names. So because we will be doing so, we will be using integer here, obviously, because we will be using number and it's going to be a whole number. So we use the integer for this purpose. Then next field will be active. And now active we'll use enum data type. So enum, where have we got it? It's here. And now enum accepts the range of the different options. So let's say for enum we're gonna have yes or no for active, whether it's active or no. We could use obviously tiny integer, let's say, and just put 0 and 1. But I just want to show you actually many different approaches, and obviously the more data type I will be able to show you here, the more you will learn obviously over this entire course. So enum for this purpose, and single quote y, comma, single quote n, and single quote. And as default, do we want the product to be active by default or inactive? I want the product to be active by default, so yes as y for yes, obviously. Now the last thing, we want the date time field, which will store the date and time of the record being inserted to the database. So for this purpose, we're going to store date and time. We're going to use the date and time data type. Now, because we will be using relationship on this table, we'll be linking from the make field to the makes database, and then also we're gonna use this table to use inside of the join table. Then we need to change the storage engine from myISAM to INODB. Once you've done this, click on Save button. And here it is, our first table has been created. In the next video, we'll create all of our lookup tables.